Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Chroma and his buffs and stuff like that, because I feel like Chroma is probably a must-have frame for killing the Eidolon in the Plains of Eidolon. Now, I will have a video coming up about killing / capturing the Eidolon, and that's why I'm making this video today, because whenever I do make that video, I'm probably going to be skimming over, like, what frames we're using, what abilities we're using, and kind of the rules, because like the point in making that video is I'm making it for a player who already understands like what it is I'm talking about whenever I say, hey, we're using a Chroma Vex armor build or whatever the hell it is that I'm going to call this build. But basically, you have to watch that video with the understanding. So that's why I'm making this video today, to sort of allow you guys to understand what's happening when we're using Chroma. Now, if you don't know, Chroma is actually one of the best tanks in the game, because if you're playing him right, you can actually make it so that he has the highest armor value out of all frames. Again, if you're playing him right, because there's a few things you actually have to do beforehand. So in this video, we're going to be using the ice element on Chroma, because if you guys don't already own Chroma, basically what happens is your energy color will determine what sort of like element it is that you're using with Chroma, because like all of his abilities are based off different elements. So you'll see that there whenever we take a look at the elemental ward ability. If we go ahead and take a look at abilities instead of my modding section, you'll see that there's all these different stats right here, which may not make sense right now, but that's because like these this ability will have like a different effect depending on what element you have equipped, right? So you can read the description there if you want. But really what we're focusing on in today's video is Vex Armor. Of course, we're going to have Elemental Ward and Vex Armor going at the same time. And that's basically just going to allow us to get the biggest sort of damage buff, good job me, damage buff possible. So but basically read the description of Vex Armor. So when shields are hit, Chroma's armor grows stronger. When health takes a hit, weapon damage increases. So you can see that we can get our damage increase up to 350% with this build. Obviously, hopefully, you'll be able to get that higher if you're just running like, a full-on power strength build. But with this build, I feel like I've kind of hit a balance between duration and power strength. So this is just kind of like a baseline. I'm just gonna like show you how effective it is versus like regular enemies, and then I'll go in depth with like a different Chroma build in the Eidolon video. So I'll just like show builds in the Eidolon video and be all like, hey, this is the build that we're using on our Chroma, this is the build that we're using on whatever frames it is that we're using. So I want you guys to pay attention to basically how much damage we deal to this heavy gunner that I'm going to spawn in here with just the regular Vectus, right? So no buffs, just zooming in with the Vectus, hitting the headshots best I can, and then he's dead, right? Now, let's do the same thing with the with Chroma's abilities active. Now, keep in mind, we actually have to take damage for Vex Armor to actually take effect, right? So we have to take health damage. So to do that, we're running the Talons with Hornet Strike and Pathogen rounds, and we're going to like throw one Talon at the ground and just damage our health, okay? So we're going to activate both our abilities. We're going to throw a Talon at the ground. We're going to hurt ourselves, and you'll see that the percentages go up just beside our health and shield there. We're going to do the exact same thing, and you're going to do that there until you get your percentages to max, right? So you get the 600% there on one of them, and then we get the 350% on the other one. And now you see it doesn't increase anymore, okay? So just keep that in mind, and then we're going to spawn in the exact same enemy. We're going to kill him in more or less 1 or 2 shots, So check it out. Okay, maybe not. We didn't get a crit. There we go. 1 or 2 shots. So because we didn't crit in the first hit, that's obviously why he didn't die. But because we got a crit in the second hit, he got melted. So we can do the exact same thing. Again. Sorry, what I meant to say. Okay, we missed that one. We one-shot him. So you see how massive those damage numbers are. And that is actually very, very crucial whenever it comes to, just the Eidolon boss fight in general, okay? So you can use that buff with pretty much any weapon in the game. But the thing is, like I said, you have to be self-damaging yourself in some way, shape, or form. So, like I said, I'm using the Talons. You can use the GLYPH. You can use basically whatever. It's totally down to you. So, you can up that buff as much as you want. You can throw on as much power strength as you want. But this is the build that I'm running because I feel it hits like that balance between obviously tankiness, which is what Chroma is basically made for, and then we also have the power strength on there for the buff itself. So, just upping the values a little bit. So you can strip away like all of the steel fiber or whatever. Well, maybe not the steel fiber because you will need to damage yourself with the Talons. So you need to be tanky to kind of tech the hit, if you get what I mean. So you have to make sure that you're tanky enough so you can tech the self damage to begin with. Otherwise, you're relying on enemies to damage you, and they will potentially kill you because like you're not in control of basically how much damage you're being dealt at that point. So you have to put yourself in a position where you can self damage yourself, so you can get those percentages up, so then you can go out and you can one shot whatever limb on the Eidolon it is, or any enemy it is potentially. So yeah, I feel like this build hits the balance between obviously your duration, your tankiness, your DPS, etc. And yeah, that's basically all it is. There's no real aura that you can run versus the Eidolon to kind of make it better. It used to be that you could use shield disruption, but that was changed. So now it's just all down to your corrosive projection and stuff like that. I'll also note that you need to be running radiation damage versus the Eidolon as well. But other than that, that's really all I wanted to show. Just how insane Chroma can be, because a lot of people just say, oh yeah, he's a tank frame, like myself included. I just looked at Chroma as like, oh yeah, he's just a tank frame. I don't really like tank frames that much, so I never really use him. But this is it changes the tides, right? Because you can do the exact same thing with the Tigris Prime, right? You can take all that self damage and you can go and one shot that heavy gunner exact same way I did like a few minutes ago. So let's cast our abilities here, bring out our Talon, self damage yourself, get the percentages up like so. Okay, not quite there yet. Do it again. There we go. Full percentages. I'm gonna jump in, simulate this guy, bring out our Tigris Prime, and we're most likely gonna one-shot him, right? So there you go. One shot in a level 150 enemy. Pretty insane, and there's not many frames that you can do that with, and while also being like omega tanky. So just take a look and see how tanky we are with these abilities up as well, and also the other effects, like the enemy actually gets cold procced and all the damage gets dealt back to them. So you can see how insane Chroma really is just as a frame in general. But yeah, this is the build that I use to take down the Eidolons with Chroma. You should have at least one Chroma in your squad, and it basically like eliminates the need to have like more buffers in your team, like let's say Octavia or something, just because of how insane you can make Chroma's damage buff, right? So that's basically what you want to be building around whenever it comes to taking down the Eidolons. I recommend the team for it right now is a Haro, a Chroma, a Trinity, and an Avara, and I'll explain more reasons why that's the team setup later on in the video, right? So other than that, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, hit that like button below, and if you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.